GNOME versus KDE Plasma. Which Linux desktop is right for you? Full comparison. If you've ever dipped your toes into the world of Linux, you've probably run into this question pretty quickly. GNOME or KDE Plasma? It sounds like a simple choice. But these two desktop environments represent two completely different philosophies about what a computer desktop should even be. One strips everything down to its bare essentials. The other hands you every tool imaginable and says, go nuts. So today, we're going to break down both side by side, covering the desktop experience, customization, performance, and who each one is actually built for. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one suits your workflow. Let's get into it. What is a desktop environment? Before we compare them, let's quickly set the stage. A desktop environment, or D.E, is essentially the graphical layer sitting on top of your Linux system. It's everything you see and interact with: the taskbar, the app launcher, the file manager, the settings panel, the window animations. It's your entire visual experience of the operating system. GNOME and KDE Plasma are the two most popular desktop environments in the Linux world, and both are incredibly polished and actively developed in 2026 and beyond. But the direction they've each taken couldn't be more different. The desktop experience. GNOME, clean, focused, and unapologetically different. GNOME made a bold decision years ago, throw out the traditional desktop model and build something new. And it shows. When you first boot into GNOME, you won't find a taskbar at the bottom, no desktop icons, no widgets sitting on your wallpaper. What you get instead is a completely clean, distraction-free workspace with just a slim panel at the top. That top bar holds your system clock in the center, your quick settings on the right, and on the left, there's a button called Activities. Click it, or just tap the super key, and GNOME reveals its real personality. A zoomed-out view of all your open windows appears, along with a universal search bar and a dock for your pinned apps. From here, you can drag apps into separate virtual desktops, each one acting like its own dedicated workspace. This workflow encourages you to stop minimizing and maximizing windows all day and instead organize your tasks across different desktops. One desktop for your browser and research, another for your code editor, another for communication apps. It's a surprisingly efficient way to work once you get used to it. And for laptop users specifically, GNOME really shines. Its touchpad gesture support is excellent. 3-finger swipes let you glide between virtual desktops smoothly, no keyboard required. On a smaller screen where juggling a dozen open windows gets messy fast, GNOME's approach feels genuinely natural. KDE Plasma, familiar, powerful, and endlessly flexible. KDE Plasma takes the opposite approach. If GNOME is a clean white room, KDE Plasma is a fully equipped workshop. It ships with a traditional desktop setup that will feel immediately familiar to anyone coming from Windows: a taskbar at the bottom, an application launcher on the left, a system tray on the right, and a desktop you can fill with folders, shortcuts, and live widgets. Window management in KDE is robust out of the box. There's a built-in tiling window manager that lets you snap windows to specific zones on your screen, and a virtual desktop overview that feels similar in spirit to what you'd find on Windows 11. But where KDE really differentiates itself is a feature called KDE Activities. Think of virtual desktops, but taken to a completely new level. Activities let you create entirely separate computing environments, each with its own wallpaper, its own set of desktop widgets, its own app shortcuts, and its own layout. You can have a work activity with your terminals and documentation tools, a gaming activity with your launchers and performance overlays, and a writing activity that's deliberately quiet with no distractions. And the best part? When you switch back to an activity, everything is exactly where you left it, even after a reboot. This is something GNOME simply doesn't replicate natively. Now, customization. GNOME capable, but you have to work for it. Out of the box, GNOME keeps customization minimal. You can change your wallpaper, pick an accent color, adjust some basic settings, and that's about it. To unlock deeper control, you need to install two additional tools. GNOME Twix, which lets you swap fonts, icon packs, cursor styles, and themes, and GNOME extensions, a plugin system where community developers have built hundreds of add-ons to change GNOME's behavior. With the right extensions, you can transform GNOME into almost anything, even something that resembles Windows or macOS. But there's a catch. GNOME's newest system applications are built on a framework called libadwaita, which deliberately resists third-party theming. So while GNOME Twix can change some of the visual look, many core apps will ignore your custom themes entirely. The apps look polished and consistent by default, but if you're hoping to theme everything, you'll hit walls. On top of that, extensions can sometimes break after a GNOME update, which means maintaining a heavily extended GNOME setup requires occasional upkeep. KDE Plasma, a customizer's dream. KDE Plasma is widely considered the most customizable mainstream desktop environment available anywhere, not just on Linux, but on any operating system. And, crucially, you don't need to install anything extra to access it. The built-in System Settings hub gives you direct access to themes, window decorations, icon packs, fonts, animation effects, and much more. The panel, KDE's equivalent of a taskbar, is fully editable. You can have more than one panel. You can position them anywhere on the screen. You can change their size, add or remove widgets, and float them above the desktop. Some distributions like Garuda Linux use this flexibility to recreate a near-perfect macOS layout right out of the box. Two other notable features are desktop effects and Kevin scripts, which let you define custom behaviors for how Windows animate, tile, and respond to your actions. Plasma 6 has refined all of this considerably, making it easier than ever to build a setup that genuinely fits your workflow rather than the developer's idea of one. Now, performance and resource usage. Performance is one of the most discussed topics in this debate, and the honest answer is, both are impressively efficient for what they offer. On a standard Fedora install, GNOME idles at around 2 GB of RAM with minimal CPU activity. KDE Plasma on the same system uses slightly more, around 2 to 2.2 GB with a bit more CPU activity, partly because of its richer feature set running in the background. However, that comparison isn't entirely fair, since Fedora is optimized for GNOME as its default environment. When tested on KDE Neon, a distribution built specifically to showcase Plasma at its best, idle RAM usage drops to around 1.4 GB, which is actually lower than GNOME in that context. The bigger takeaway is that the underlying Linux distribution you're running has a significant impact on performance, sometimes more than the desktop environment itself. What we can say with confidence is that on any modern mid-range machine, a Ryzen 5 or Core i5 with integrated graphics, both GNOME and KDE Plasma feel fast, smooth, and completely responsive in everyday use. On older or lower-spec hardware, KDE Plasma actually has an edge because it gives you granular control to dial back visual effects and reduce resource consumption. GNOME, being more opinionated, doesn't offer those same levers. Now, Wayland support. A quick note on Wayland, since it's increasingly important in 2026. Both GNOME and KDE Plasma run well on Wayland, the modern display server protocol that's gradually replacing the older X11 system. GNOME has historically led the way here, treating Wayland as its primary focus for several years. KDE's compositor, Kevin, has caught up significantly, and with Plasma 6.x, it now offers features that are particularly appreciated by gamers and content creators, like picture-in-picture support and improved pointer handling. If Wayland compatibility is a priority for you, both environments are solid choices in 2026. Now, who should use what? Let's cut to the point. Choose GNOME if you're a laptop user who loves smooth touchpad gestures. You want a focused, distraction-free workflow with minimal setup. You prefer a consistent, polished visual experience that looks great without any tweaking. You're coming to Linux fresh and want something that just works without an overwhelming number of options. You value a use-it-as-is approach rather than spending hours fine-tuning. Choose KDE Plasma if you want full control over how your desktop looks and behaves. You're coming from Windows and want something familiar from day one. You're a power user who benefits from features like KDE activities, advanced window tiling, and multi-panel setups. You run a desktop PC with a large monitor and want every bit of screen real estate managed exactly the way you want it. You enjoy building a setup that's truly personal and designed around your specific workflow. Here's the real truth. In 2026, there is no wrong answer. GNOME and KDE Plasma are both mature, stable, and genuinely excellent. GNOME gives you precision and focus. It decides on sensible defaults so you don't have to. KDE Plasma gives you freedom and power. It trusts you to decide everything yourself. One popular analogy that's been floating around the Linux community is actually pretty apt. GNOME is a bit like iOS, clean, consistent, and opinionated. KDE Plasma is more like Android, open, configurable, and built for people who want to own their experience. If you're not sure which one to try first, most major Linux distributions let you test both without committing. Fedora offers a clean GNOME experience by default, while KDE Neon or Kubuntu give you KDE Plasma at its finest. Try both. See which one feels right. That's the beauty of Linux. You get to choose. If this video helped you out, drop a like and subscribe for more Linux content. Let me know in the comments which desktop environment you're rocking, GNOME, KDE Plasma, or something else entirely. See you in the next one.